Welcome everybody to Weights to Win. It's the World Sports Betting Grand Heritage Race Day already. December, this time of the year is flying. Daryn, Christmas 2 weeks away. I hope you got some specials, you and Daryl, for us.
Yeah, well, I do suggest that a lot of people get involved in the buy pots at the Vaal. Big fields, it's going to be a massive payout. So I have worked a nice perm out for us, and hopefully we can crack something big before Christmas.
Okay, well, I hope so too. And Daryl, your side, what do you think?
Well, Clyde, I'm tipping my normal pick six, and if we manage to get a slice of that, it'll certainly be a festive holiday period.
Okay, brilliant. All right, well, let's get straight into the show and see what you guys have got. Remember, we're going to Durban, and we're going to let you know when we come into Durban. I hope you guys are going to be with us here. It'll be a special live show that we want you to be there, and we'll engage with you further on it. But to be part of that live Durban show and the competitions and the prizes, remember, send your name and number to 0691643272. We're now going on to WhatsApp group number 4. So we're doing very well with that. If you haven't been added and you've sent your name, we apologize. Our admin is on it, and they will add it. They will add you to the group. So that's the latest on that. Now there's some scratchings for the Vaal meeting. There are lots in the World Sports Betting Grand Heritage that have come out as card scratchings. Some for the reasons I believe, so some jockeys not available, etc. But that's the latest. Roll with the Punches, having run just the other day or yesterday, it's been recorded Friday midday, is out, and same with Maleta, also taken out in the 9th race. All right, and Winter Tiger was another. That's later on. But let's get straight into the 4th and have a look at the opening leg of the pick 6. As you heard from Daryn, the bipod's probably the way to go, but we'll get to that when we get to the slide. Yeah, on the World Sports Betting market, you'll see they bet 4-1 the field, and I'll start with Daryn, where Rosa Prime top of the boards at 4-1, Batter Hell number 5 is at 6-1, and Dance Lesson at 8-1. But you look at this handicap fillies and mares 80, Daryn, and it is, I don't know how you see it, but when I look at it, it does look to be a race where you're going to have to go quite a few runners to survive the first leg.
Yeah, I've pretty much narrowed the race down to 4 runners, but you got to go as wide as possible. My first choice is Terror Time, number 9 on the card. She actually ran just the other day. She ran a good second behind the Colts, behind Zuzan. On her best form, I mean, she's run 4 lengths of Follow Me in a juvenile plate. She's having a 3rd run back after a break, drawn hard up on the outside. I think she's the horse to beat at around 8-1. A horse like Lee Express, she showed good improvement when dropping down to an 80 rating last time out. So off that competitive mark, I think she's going to run a very good race here. Another horse to consider at 16-1 is Twice the Trip, number 3 on the card. As a juvenile, she actually beat a horse like Kayleen. She ran 2 lengths of Waterbury Lane. And on efforts like that, in an 80 handicap, she's got to be a factor. So I've thrown Twice the Trip in. If she can find her best form, having a 3rd run back after a break, I think she could be a runner. Another one to consider is Bat Out of Hull. She tries the 1,500 meter trip for the first time. And if she sees it out on her form, she'll be right there at the finish. I haven't touched on the favorite Rosa Prima. She's had the one comeback run from a lengthy layoff. She won very easily, but she did get an 8-point penalty from that win, and she has top weight to shoulder. So you can include her playing wider, but I've only gone the 2, 3, 5, and 9 in the bipod and the pick 6.
Okay, 2, 3, 5, and 9. Daryl, I would imagine you are looking to add a couple to that, a few more.
Clyde, you know, my pick 6 is very costly at the moment, so I opted to go short in the first leg, and the reason being for that is if I don't manage to make it through the first leg, I can always opt on taking a jackpot. I've narrowed it down, like I said, to 4 runners. This is the leg I'm most wary about getting through. I think it's very, very competitive. I like the look of number 7 over here, Castle Durrow. Now, I know she's certainly not one to rely on because she hasn't won in over 400 days. But just have a look at her rating in her 4 starts, her 4 most recent starts. She's dropped 15 pounds from a 91 to a 76. I think of this rating, she's going to start being competitive because we have seen that she's got ability in the past, and she tends to to run her best races at this Vaal track. So she's my value bet on the day. I think she's priced up at 25 to 1.
Yeah,
Can't get too hurt. Can't get too hurt at that price. But like I said, you don't want to be putting the rent money on because you just don't know what Castle Darrow is going to turn up. Excuse me. The horse, I think you can be most confident on a good performance. Is number 5, Bat Out of Hell. I thought in her most recent start, she's giving the impression that she wants further. And Dan won over 4 races between 7 furlongs and a mile. So if she's more effective over this trip now that she's trying, she could certainly be underrated. And that form line has worked out well. We've seen From Year to Eternity win 2 races from there. So she's my first pick. Castle Darrow is my value in the race. I'm not discounting Rosa Prima, but like Darren touched on, she did get an £8 penalty. But, she showed some good improvement from her maiden to her handicap debut. And it looks like she's going on the right path, but it certainly will make her chances much more difficult of you with that 4 kg penalty that she picked up. And then another one I want to throw into the trifecta, Clyde, is Louvain. Just put a line through her last start. That wasn't her effort. Prior to that, she's very, very consistent. She's honest, and she's always thereabouts. So if you're looking for another roughie to include in the trifectas and exactas, number 12, Louvain. But I'm going to tip them Bat Out of Hell to beat Castle Darrow, my roughie, in the first leg of the pick 6.
Now that certainly will play very well with Castle Darrow. I think 5 and 7, is it? Yeah, maybe it's a quartet that we must look at in the 4th race, because if I put all the numbers together here, 1, 2, 3, if I left anything out, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. Can we take a quartet on that? 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12.
You can certainly take a Clyde, take a quartet, take the trifecta. If you happen to get the 25 to 1 in the first 2 positions, you'll show a profit. 7 by 6 by 5 by 4. Okay, those are the numbers. All right, that's the quartet. Race 5.
10%.
How much? $84, 10%.
Yeah.
Right. Can we take that? Will you get us on, please, Darren? 84 and 10%. Sure. All right, race 5. I'll stay with Darryl for the moment now and just have a quick look at the jackpot, opening leg of the pot. And the market here, you've got Morby at 4 to 1, 9 to 2, Massacin, number 6 on the card, 3 She's a Crackers at 11 to 2 at the moment. And then 7 to 1 and better, 7 to 1 and better about the others. All right, Darryl, well, let's talk about this again. I don't know. I looked at it, fillies and men's handicap, tough. I couldn't single out one particular horse that I like. Again, that it appears that we're going to have to go wide in this 2400. What did you make of it?
Well, Clyde, as the betting suggests, another very, very competitive fillies and men's handicap. You'd like to go as many as possible, but the budget just doesn't allow it. So I've narrowed down to 5 runners. My top pick in the race is number 3, She's a Cracker. She's going to strip much fitter, and she's going to, and she meets Morby on 3.5 kilograms better weight turn. So I like the look of number 3, She's a Cracker. And what's most important is she's now going to be on the long Vaal testing straight. I don't think that inside track suits her. She's a big, strong galloper. She's going to love this course and distance. So she's the one to beat, in my opinion.
She's won on this course before, right? She's won at the Vaal. She's won on this course.
Yeah. She takes a long time to unwind. My second pick is number 4, Smiley River. Now, considering she was hopelessly out at the weights last time out in the Java Stakes, she certainly doesn't disgrace herself. Prior to that, she did pick up a £4 penalty for running second. But she's back at the Vaal. She's back in a handicap. She's in very good form. We saw marching on together 1 and 2 from that form line. So she's always got a chance when she's at the Vaal. And I like the look of number 7, Keeping the Pieces last run. She was staying on strongly in open company. She had the likes of Juan Carlos and Platinum Sky around her. I thought that was a very, very competitive race. And she's unexposed of this trip, and her rating has come down. So she's another one I'd focus on with trifectas and quartets. And then Morby, very, very consistent, faultless forms since stepping up above, further than 10 furlongs. She has to go in. And then I've thrown in Masterkin. She's certainly not in my top 3 picks, but you know she's in very good form, and Gavin Lorena gets a good tune out of her. But like I said, I do prefer others, but I don't want to go out a big pick 6 with a filly from Mark the Cock stable in good form with Gavin Lorena in iron. So I've thrown it in. I'm going to favour She's a Cracker over Smiley River. Okay,
Daryn, let's just talk about Massacre for a moment, having won her last 2 starts, and she loves this course, by the way, but 3 in a row. I see that last start, nothing's come out of there from that last one, Daryn, from Massacre.
No, but on her best form, I think she's a big runner here. She just seems to progress. She seems to be one of those late maturing staying fillies. Once upon a time, it never looked like she would win a maiden, and now she's notched up 3 or 4 wins, 4 wins in 17 starts. So she keeps on improving, and she can't be discounted here. My first choice is going to be Marby. I think Marby's on the up. She's a 4-year-old filly. Since trying the staying trips in her last 4 starts, she's improved from strength to strength. Last time out when she won, I think it was an 86 handicap. She only got a 2-point penalty for winning that, and now she drops down to a 76 handicap. So with more natural improvement, I think Marby is the horse to beat. She's a Cracker, does meet Marby on better terms, a couple of kilos, but she is a 5-year-old. She's an out-and-out stayer. She always runs an honest race, and she'll be thereabouts once again. Smiley River is the only other horse I've included in the bipot. Last run in the Java handicap wasn't a bad run at all, and she could be better than her rating suggests. So I'm going 1, 3, 4, and 6 in that order in race 5. I think I've thrown in 9 and 10 into the pick 6 as well.
Okay, so if we put it together, we're going 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 runners again. Maybe take the quartets again. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Guys, box that. Take the chance. What does appear to be an open race. All right, well, let's go to race 6, Daryn. I'll stay with you. And it's an interesting race, the 6th race, the World Sports Betting Sophomore. It's 1,000 meter. And some nice horses in here in Under Your Spell and Master Archie running. And I suppose for some, it might just be a 2-horse race. Daryn, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. The speed's going to be on here. You got Master Archie and Sheldon that like to blitz along. And my best bet on the card is Under Your Spell. I think if it was a 1,200 meter sprint, she would be odds-on favorite. But because it's a minimum trip, you're getting a decent enough price this time. She shows enough gate speed. I think she'll sit just off the pace, a couple of lengths off them, and she's got a really amazing turn of foot. She is best weighted in the race, and I think she'll take a lot of beating coming back from a little short break. So Under Your Spell for me, the horse to beat. Master Archie to follow home. He's got a lot of speed. Last time out, you could say he was a little bit disappointing, but the form line has worked out quite well. And then Captain Lannister, the best of the rest. I thought he's a better horse over 1,200 meters, but he'll be staying on late. But for me, Under Your Spell, even though it's 1,000 meters, I think a class will carry her through.
Yeah. Darryl, what do you make of the weights and the filly taking on? We know how good she is Under Your Spell. What's your take on her?
Well, Clyde, she comes in 10 pounds ahead of Captain Lannister at the ratings. But one has to take into consideration that she earned her rating of the 1450. She now reverts to 1,000 meters. But in saying that, she is unbeaten over the minimum trip. And you know, if she's in contention with 400 to go, it's going to take a really an above average sort to fend her off, because she's got a sensational turn of foot. So yes, she is the one to beat. But because it is over the 5 furlong, I've opted to back her up with Captain Lannister. Now, I've been super impressed with his 2 comeback runs. And last time out, I don't actually think the race went his way in the early stages. He came up very well, and then the pace was in the inside. So Ryan just opted to try get him some cover and move over towards the inside. And he took a hold of the bit, and he was throwing his head up in the air, and he was over racing in the early stages. And I thought he did extremely well to finish his race off. We saw Bard of Avon come and win quite convincingly from that form line. Yeah. So I've only opted to go 2 horses in the pick 6, Under Your Spell and Captain Lannister. Yeah, but under your spell on her day, she'll prove very, very hard to beat.
Okay, so maybe, yeah, Banker under your spell in some cases, cover Master Archie and Captain Lannister. As we go to the World Sports Betting Grand Heritage now, and they bet 7-1 the field here, Darryl, so it's quite competitive. I don't know. I suppose there are a few in here that one perhaps could look at in terms of what you guys like. So I'll give you the floor to give us what you think the value is in the race. This is a great quartet to catch if you can get it right. So let's hear what the two of you like, and we'll put the numbers together and see what that costs. You start.
Well, Clyde, it is a handicap, so you want to be looking for a horse that's possibly on the upgrade, still ahead of the handicapper.
Yeah.
And there's 2 4-year-olds over here that fall into that category, and that's number 6 in Glamour and number 14 Silver Tycoon. Now in Glamour, like I said, he's a likely race 4-year-old. He's still on the upgrade. You can see he's last time out, I actually think he ran to 101. So he's a kilogram well in over here. And that form line has worked out extremely well. We saw Sounds of Summer. He came out and ran second, and then the horse that ran 4th in the Summer Cup, Johnny Hero, was also in that race.
Yeah.
So he's going to be right there when the chips are down. And then Silver Tycoon, last time out they tried different tactics with him, and he was doing it very, very hard in the early stages. And despite him traveling too hard, he still managed to finish his race off. So I was impressed with that run. Like I say, he's likely raced. You have to believe he's got more to offer.
Yeah.
So those are the two I'd be leaning towards. But then you got the hard knockers in the race of the likes of Eskimo Power, Back to Black. They're very, very honest. They're in good form. They've got little to no weight to shoulder. And it would be no surprise to see them run another honest race. So yeah. I've thrown in it. And it is the Vaal straight. And sometimes a course specialist does extremely well on this tricky track up the straight. So number 5 falls into that category, Miss Elegance. She loves this Vaal straight, and the wetter the better for her. Yeah. So if it is very sticky on the day, I wouldn't be surprised to see her right there. But I'm leaning towards the Sean Terry coupling of here. I think in Glamour and Silver Tycoon are the two that you could possibly double float in the quartet, Clyde. But it's very, very tricky.
It's quite interesting, the World Sports Betting race, and they've got the favourite, albeit it's at 7-1. The World Sports Betting guys own Bold Jazz. So I'm sure Warren Tannis and his team will be very excited about that. I want to ask Daryn just about, let's just talk about Silver Tycoon for a moment that Darryl touched on as well. I just want to find out that last run, the fact that the form to date, albeit light runners, hasn't really worked out. Does that worry you at all?
It doesn't worry me at all. They tried to restrain him over a mile as he does it too hard over a mile previously. And they restrained him, and he was pulling too hard. And the fact that he still ran on into second just showed that he has a little bit of quality about him. He's a 1400-meter specialist. Unless he gets to settle in the future, he may see a little bit further. But he's unbeaten over 1400 meters. He's a 4-year-old with 52 kilos. And the Vaal straight 1475, I think, is going to be right up his alley. He can bowl along at his own pace with the speed, and then he's got a great acceleration when asked a question. So this is going to be my value bet on the card. He was 16-1 yesterday and this morning, and I see he's just shortened into 10-1. I think Silver Tycoon is going to prove quite a hard horse to beat here. Over in Glamour, never runs a bad race. On his best form, he's going to be right on top of them once again. They did come with different tactics last time out, and he ran on really nicely late. He's drawn on the outside, where Silver Tycoon's actually gone into a 1 draw after the 2 scratchings inside of him. So it'll be interesting to see if the track's very level and fair. Yeah. And then the best of the rest, I thought, Bold Jazz. He takes a long time to unwind this horse. He's best over a mile, I would say, but there's going to be speed on, and he'll be staying on late. So they say the smaller the field, the bigger the upsets. So I'm going the trifecta boxed 6, 11, and 14, and I'm going to triple float 6, 11, and 14 in the quartet with the field, and I'm going to have a bet on Silver Tycoon.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Good value to be had about it. Yeah, we're not going to know from a pick six perspective as to where they're going. And see the first 3 races around the turn, I think. So it doesn't really help us much. But from a quartets and trifectas, we'll know where the going is, I think, after the running of the first leg of the pick six, or perhaps not. Hopefully, it's going to be even at level. The numbers, I've marked up 5, 6 in between the two of you guys, 5, 6, and I don't have anything to add. 5, 6, 11, 14, 17, and 21. That's what I've got there written down. Have I left anything out by any chance? 5, 6, 11, 14, 17, 21.
Yeah, that's
good enough
from our side.
Okay. All right, well, let's hope we got that formula correct as far as the heritage is concerned. And you heard Darryl make reference to number 21, back to black. So make sure you add that in. All right, let's take a look now at the next event on the card. 8th race, Darren, I'll stay with you. This is the consolation of a 1475. And let's just quickly move on and go to that, where they've got 5 to 1 the field here. 7 City by the Sea, 5 to 1, 12 Spanish Boy, 11 to 2, and 3 Captain Hindsight is at 7 to 1. It does seem to be fairly challenging, this event, Darren. I don't know what you make of it. Are you a Captain Hindsight? Is that your first choice by any chance?
Well, he's one of my first selections, but I did make this the hardest race on the card.
Okay.
I really struggled to narrow this race down. I did come up with 4 horses. Spanish Boy, number 12 on the card. Last year, he actually ran 3rd behind Express from the US over the 1475. And he hasn't been the trip many times. But, you know, on his pedigree, it suggests that he should see it out in the way he races, the way he quickens up late. And I'll give him another chance here over the 1475. So Spanish Boy for me, big runner with only 53.5 kilos. Captain Hindsight, he's had 5 runs for 3 wins and a place at the Vaal track. He enjoys it. He sees out this sort of distance. This is his maximum trip. But as you saw in his penultimate start, he won at the Vaal over 1400, beating a horse like Whirly Whirly. That was a really good win, and he's won for the shortlist. Another was to consider is Rock of Africa. He's never far back, always right on top of them, and a very good last run behind Theory of Flight. It says not striding out, I think 3 times in his last 4 runs, even though he's run close-up races, it says not striding out. So I think that he would enjoy a bit of the sting out the ground, and he should be competitive. I've also thrown in Bowie. Never runs a bad race, is very effective over this sort of distance, and a handy galloping weight. Those are the 4 horses. I'm hoping that I can get through this leg. Stormy Winter, I'm just waiting for his rating to drop a little bit. He won a couple on the trot. His rating's been raised to a 95. He loves this course. He is most effective over the straight mile at the Vaal. So maybe next time out, but not for me this time.
Okay. All right. Well, difficult for you. You're making it hard. Darryl, are you making it just as hard, or can we get away with something?
Yeah, very, very competitive, Clyde. But I do like Darren's first pick. He's also my first pick, and that's Spanish Boy. 2 eye-catching return runs from his rest. And like Darren touched on, he ran 3rd in the Grand Heritage last year. So it shows you that he is effective over this sort of trip. My only concern, he hasn't put his head in front for 470 odd days. But, you know, it looks like he's returned from his rest in good order. So he's going to be there where he's going to be right there at the finish. I like the look of number 12, Spanish Boy. Then number 9, Bowie. Slightly disappointing in his last start. I actually think he's better ridden with cover. And he's very, very competitive off his current rating. So he has to go in. And then, like Darren touched on, Captain Hindsight, Rock on Africa. They're course specialists. They're in good form. No reason to leave them out. And Stormy Winter, he's a specialist at the Vaal. So he's having his peak run. He's back at the Vaal. I think he needed his comeback efforts. So I've thrown him in, but he's not in my top 4 selections. But I've just backed him up over here, along with City by the Sea. But I think Spanish Boy and Bowie, if I had to be put in a corner, those are my top 2 picks in the 8th.
Okay, well, that adds up to, yeah, I think the right horse in the race here is Spanish Boy. Those two comeback runs, I think you're correct. I think they were very good back over the 14 now and the 1475. I think that you're quite right in that you guys, he may well be the floating banker, 12 Spanish Boys. So maybe we do that. We float banker the 12 and we go with 3, 4, 7, 9, 10. I think that's everything that you marked up. I don't think we left anything out there. 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, and perhaps float the 12 Spanish Boy in the 8th race. And Darryl, the last race on the card, I just want to ask you about Mbewu quickly, because I kind of like that. I see that's at 4-1. I know that the form does kind of show there was an update last run, but she never ran. Am I right? There was no updated run. She didn't run. Correct.
No,
yeah. So
she never ran.
What you see there is what you get. I like her. I think she's quite hard to beat, actually. What do you make? Do you like her?
I think she'll prove a very, very tough nut to crack. I thought she was super impressive on debut. She actually toyed with the filly called Sprinkles. And Sprinkles has obviously gone on since that. She's come on with each and every start, and she's now a 99.
Yeah.
But in saying that, Mbewu toyed with her, and she's a 94. She's still got to prove that she's progressing. But I thought that running this Golden Slipper first start out the maidens was more than decent. And I think she reverts back up the straight. So she is certainly the one to beat. Even if she's if she's not 100%, if she's close to peak fitness, she'll prove very, very hard to beat. I think she represents a lot of value. And I'm only backing her up with number 6, Alabama Anna. Her latest 2 starts have been fair, Clyde, but they've been both around the bend. And I like the fact that she's back up the straights. And if she's allowed to stride, I think she's the one that Mbewu is going to have to go fetch. I think these two should fight it out. I'm actually quite confident that one of the two will win, but I'm really leaning towards number 3, Mbewu, as a very hard filly to beat. And I think she may well prove one to follow going into the features next year.
Yeah. Daryn, so it looks like Lucky Udalaka's got a decent card, and so does Sean Terry. Would you agree with Darryl's assessment of both Mbewu and Alabama Anna?
Well, I agree very much with Mbewu. She was very impressive on debut, and her form lines have worked out well. In her second start behind Desert Miracle, I mean, she was drawn out wide, 11 out of 13, and she never really got into the hunt. She stayed on late to run 5th. There's been multiple winners out of that race. And if not in need of a run over the 1100-meter trip, it might just be on the sharp side, but her class may carry her through. I've thrown in Alula's Star. Last time out, she jumped awkwardly, and then it just put her a little bit off during the race. And I think she's better than that run, and the apprentice takes off 2.5 kilos. I think she'll be right there at the finish. And I've thrown in a roughie at any price, Midnight Gem. She did win on the 19th of August off a 65 rating by a couple of lengths. She was raised up to a 71. She's been just off the pace, and now she's dropped back down to a 69. With only 52.5 kilos. I think if there's going to be an upset horse in the last leg of the pick 6, I would throw a horse like Midnight Gem in. I'm not sure what price she is, but she's in double figure odds.
Yeah, she's double figures, number 11 on the card. Okay, so the way you guys have wrapped it up, so Mbewu number 3, the one to beat, and then healthy respect for Alula Star, the 5, the 6 Alabama Anna, and the 11 Midnight Gem. Would that be a good wrap for the 9?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 5, 6, 11, the last race on the card. Let's get straight into it and have a look. We'll start with Daryn quickly. Daryn, you can take us through. You've got a bipod for us, a pick 6, and you've also given us some information around, what would you call it, Kenilworth as well. So let's chat about that quickly.
Okay, so my bipod for TIFF of the Vaal is going to cost 576 Rand, and we got good chances of doubling up along the way, and a lot of horses at decent prices, big fields. So I think it's going to pay a lot of money and worth taking a nice percentage. The pick 6 at the Vaal, very tricky. I suggest you take maybe 10 or 20%. And if we do pull it off, it's going to pay handsomely. My best bet, I'm taking my chance with Under Your Spell. I know it is a 1,000-meter sprint. The speed's going to be on. But if she's not too far back, at the 400-meter mark. I think a turn of foot could put this field to bed. And then my insure bet and value bet on the card is Silver Tycoon in race 7, number 14. I think he's a huge runner with only 52 kilos and dropping back in trip. And then my Kenilworth best bet is Mar Black, race 5, number 1. She's really impressed me in her last 2 starts after a break. She won from the back of the field to the front last time out. She quickened up smartly down the center. And I think off her current rating, she'll win again.
Okay. That's interesting. So Mar Black, don't leave that out to play with Kenilworth on the go on Saturday afternoon. Darryl, your take on it?
Yeah, my pick 6 for full units is 2,400. No bankers. Opted to back up under your spell with Captain Lannister. My best bet comes up in the first race, Clyde Angel C.
Yeah.
Slightly disappointing last time out, but the winner did show a lot of guts up front. And running third in that race was a filly that's highly rated by the yard. And we even heard from Mark de Kock. He said that he's surprised she's still a maiden. And I don't see much potential in this race. I think she'll take a lot of beating. I know it's restricted odds, but if you're looking to get involved early in the day, possibly have a bet on her. My insure bets, I think, is comes up in the 4th, Castle Durrow, around about 25 to 1. I'm hoping that she starts to show some sort of a ability that she had in the past, and booted by the fact that she's come down in the ratings. And also Matsunyane in the irons, he'll give her the confidence that she possibly needs to get over the line. And you can't get hurt at those big odds, Clyde. So Angel C, a win into Castle Durrow, 1 and place. That would be my focus on a very, very competitive Vaal meeting.
It certainly is. Okay. The professional double from both of you then is you going with the first race, Angel C, Darryl, and Daryn, you going under your spell. And if we take that professional double, you should get 4 to 1 if you ask nicely, the double. That's the professional weighted to win double of the day. I'm going in that last one with the insure bet, the 9th race, number 3 in Bewu. I like it very much at the Vaal. And I think that's pretty much a wrap. Just a reminder about us coming to Durban by the Sea. Have you been to Durban by the Sea, Daryn?
A very long time ago when I was a kid.
Yes.
I did go up to Durban a couple of years ago for a weekend away, but yeah, it's been a while, so I would love to be back there.
I want to host our live show in Chatsworth. That's exactly where we're going to end up. Stay over there for the night, speak to one of the guys that I know there, and maybe we get a great buddy chow as well. 0691643272. Send your name and number. We want to see you there, and we look forward to our next show when we obviously look at the Cape Guineas that will take place. All right, gents, thanks very much. I hope it's going to be a good weekend. I see forecast rain, Darryl, Johannesburg, but I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it's gone. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
The rain's fine, Clyde. It's the lightning that's the issue. So let's hope the thunderstorms stay away and we can get through the full meeting.
Yeah. Okay, and Daryn, your side, weather all good, eh?
Weather's been great this week, yes.
Beautiful. All right, guys, thanks so much. Chat soon.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.